What's going on, YouTube? JT is Reborn here. Welcome to episode number 6, I believe, of the Marvel Rewatch. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the Avengers. I do love the Avengers theme song. Like, the solo heroes don't have an iconic theme song. But the Avengers definitely do. So the Avengers theme overall is great. Alan Silvestri, one of the best composers of all time, composed the soundtracks for Predator, Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and I'm sure a slew of others that I'm forgetting to mention. But yeah, dude knows his shit. So yes, I love the Avengers theme. Love the first Avengers movie. I think it's great. Doesn't quite hold up as much nowadays, but it still is overall a pretty good time. The Avengers, my little history of it, I remember the build-up for this thing. The build-up was absolutely astronomical. I was so excited. I remember the teaser at the end of the first Captain America movie. The Avengers was coming out. Now, this is before the MCU fully cemented itself as the gargantuan studio that it was. This is the moment nobody really knew if the Avengers would be as big as it was, opening to over $200 million. This huge marketing tactic that they've been doing for like 4 years finally built up. We got the payoff, and it was totally worth it. The Avengers is great. Plenty of humor, plenty of good action sequences, the banter amongst the characters. Yeah, it's not the most suspenseful movie in the world. Yeah, bits of it have become kind of dated, and moments of it definitely do drag. But overall, for what they did at the time, putting this thing together, I think they knocked it out of the park. The Avengers is a huge monster movie when it came out back in 2012. This is the only movie I've seen like 3 times in the same day, because when the Avengers came out, I went to the midnight showing. I was all amped up, ready to go. Went with some of my friends. We came out of the theater. We were laughing, we were cheering, we were having a good time. Then I went home and I passed out. Then I had to go to school like the next day, which was pretty miserable, but I was so amped up for the Avengers. And my friend, I was like, hey, you want to go see the movie? Yeah, let's go see the movie. So then we went and we got to see the movie like right after school, and I'm like, okay, I saw the Avengers the second time, I'm good. And then my other friend calls me, hey, did you see Avengers yet? I'm like, yes, I saw Avengers, I saw it twice, I loved it. He's like, would you want to go again? I'm like, okay, but let's see it in 3D this time. Third time, 3D, whatever. So I went and saw the Avengers, saw it the third time in 3D. By that time, I was just like, okay, I've seen it enough times today, I'm pretty good. Then I went, just smiled, enjoying it for the rest of the summer. It made a shit ton of money, made everyone happy. That's when comic book fandom, I feel like overall was universally like combined, happy, go lucky, everybody's having a good time. And then Dark Knight Rises will come out later on that summer and make a ton of money as well. I feel like 2012 was like the beginning of something new, but also the end of something kind of special in terms of dividing comic book movies, because really I want to say post 2012 was when the comic book fandom, in terms of movies, people were just happy in general to see movies. Then it became like this ridiculous Marvel versus DC battle. It was like, oh, the Avengers, Batman didn't make as much money as the Avengers. Granted, The Dark Knight Rises probably would have made a lot more money hadn't it been for that Aurora incident, which unfortunately took place, and that was a very tragic thing that happened. I honestly do think it probably would have made a lot more money, but to each their own. We don't necessarily know for sure what would have happened. But yeah, there was just a nice sense of unity amongst comic book fandom. People weren't like at each other's throats, Marvel vs. DC. The Avengers were still new, like household names. Obviously some movies got some boosts afterwards, but it was a lot better back then. It wasn't so divisive and heated and angsty as it used to be. I kind of miss that era of comic book movies. I also miss the days when comic book movies were just, I kind of miss the days where it felt kind of movie-esque. And then it became like, after the Avengers, I feel like the shared universe thing kind of took off and everybody started copying it. But then, I feel like post-Avengers, though, because the build-up to Avengers was something special that had never really been. I mean, other shared universes that existed, Universal did their things, then Toho did their things in the 60s, but Marvel deliberately said it, those were kind of after the fact that they did the crossovers. They just kind of made standalone movies, and okay, let's cross them over. But this one, it was deliberately done as a build-up to a singular movie, getting all these threads tied together. And then, kind of after the fact, the build-up phase 2 wasn't really necessarily worth it, I thought, at least going into that, because then it just became, okay, this is the next episode. But the Avengers felt like an event. It felt like a big movie. And then post that, it felt kind of like episodic, if you will. Like, okay, here's the next Marvel episode that we can check out. There was just something special about this first Avengers movie. So, in terms of the story is Loki comes down. He's the villain in this movie. He's done much better in this movie than he does in the first Thor. He's got more charm. He's got more charisma. He's got more energy. I think that's the strength in the writing and directing of Joss Whedon, who did work on Buffy the Vampire Slayer and did some of everyone's favorite reshoots on the Justice League movie. Yeah, that's kind of my little running joke at the Justice League movie, because the people won't shut up about the fucking Justice League movie at this point. I had fun at that movie, going to see it. It was, simple, it was safe. But looking at it now, someone's like, okay, it doesn't hold up so well, but, people are just constantly complaining about the Snyder Cut and all this other gobbledygook, and everywhere you go, you still hear people talking about, the other version of the Justice League movie, and it just won't ever stop. And I'm just like, it's time to move on, guys. Let's just move on to something else. Okay, but Avengers, fuck it. Well, no, I'm turning this into a Marvel and DC thing. But yeah, Joss Whedon directed the movie. I think he did a really good job. He brought everyone together. He was able to, nail everyone's personality. He did kind of start the quippiness of Marvel, where it just kind of got a bit out of hand after Whedon took over. The whole universe just became kind of the Whedonverse, and I think the Russos kind of restrained that just a little bit when they took over from Whedon, in terms of, after they did Civil War and, Winter Soldier, and then did Infinity War, which I think is still the best Marvel movie. Even, watching the first Avengers movie, there's a lot I forgot that happened because it had been so long since I'd seen this film. For instance, we had some of the great moments Loki getting smashed by Hulk, where he's just like, enough, you are beneath me, I'm a god, you dull creature, and I will not be bullied, and then just proceeds to smash the shit out of him, and I was just dying hysterically in the theater. Then you had some of the little quips and the little battles between Iron Man and all them. Honestly, the best parts of the movie are the team coming together. Ruffalo takes over as Bruce Banner. I liked Edward Norton, but then upon rewatching this movie, I realized why I liked Ruffalo the most. Because when I hadn't seen this one, granted I hadn't seen this one in a while, and going off of Infinity War, which I had seen a bunch of times recently, you kind of forget where the characters were at earlier points in the franchise after having not seen them in a while. Going back in, it's honestly just oh, I remember they used to be like this, because there's been so many movies nowadays, you kind of forget where the characters were at. So Loki was different in this one versus the first Thor movie, and Thor was a bit different. Captain America was still a bit different. Granted, Cap would do some changes, and honestly, Captain America may be probably the best fleshed out character. Him, Thor, and Iron Man, and three characters have really improved since the first movie. Although, actually, Iron Man was kind of on this high pedestal. Thor is one who definitely improved post Avengers and onward, so on and so forth. But, yeah, where was I at? Yeah, Loki was different. There's little moments here. There's something special about it. I think this is right here, the universe was pretty contained. Then it was after the Avengers, where we had all the TV shows and the spin-offs, where I feel like the MCU kind of got a bit out of hand. I wish the MCU just stuck with the movies and didn't have any of the TV shows at all. I think we'd be better off. Because I was really excited to see the first Marvel TV show, which was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and upon watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I'm just we don't really need this show. And then I was able to keep up with the whole universe, and then just kind of got out of hand where I just lost interest. So I really wish Marvel would have just stuck with the movies. I think it'd be a much better universe. But granted, I think Kevin Feige is just yeah, they're kind of connected, but he doesn't really care. The movies impact the TV shows, but the TV shows have no impact on the movies. So, but there was something special about this build-up. The universe was pretty contained. Obviously, we had the post-credit sequence, or mid-credit sequence with Thanos, and we had the funny shawarma scene. I thought that was kind of cool. It was just special. It was epic. And after this, we were okay, how are they going to build up to Thanos in the next movie? Granted, we'd have to wait an additional 6 years between this and Infinity War to get to the Thanos stuff, because that's one of my issues with Age of Ultron. It's just oh, we're building up to this movie, but shouldn't we have been building up to Thanos? It just felt like everything else felt less significant after you did that tease of Thanos, per se. But that's just me. What else can I say about the Avengers? Cast, Black Widow's done much better. Hawkeye, Hawkeye was okay in this first movie. He's kind of put under a spell throughout most of it. Captain America's got some stuff. I like the bantering between him and Iron Man and just kind of the tensions between those two characters. Nick Fury is fine. Phil Coulson's death has no meaning whatsoever, because they immediately brought him back in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. TV show. there's no suspense really in the movie. It's just kind of just seeing your characters come together, triumphant. But it is triumphant, and you feel good watching it. With that one shot with the Avengers in the circle is iconic, where it's like do 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 do, and then you just see him in there, and then you just Hulk smash. Oh God, so many great moments, so many epic sequences in this movie. Oh, so much fun stuff, so much fun stuff. But what else can I say about the Avengers? Ruffalo was great. You see him kind of come together. Although I'm kind of bummed post this that he has not gone to see Betty Ross at all. That still ticks me off. But Ruffalo was so good in this first Avengers movie. It's kind of sad how he ends up in kind of post this movie. He kind of becomes a little bit of a joke, and that kind of disappointed me going forward. But we'll see what happens when I rewatch the next batch of Phase 2 movies. Because now that I think about it, I may actually like Phase 2 a bit more. Well, some of the movies, like Captain America, Winter Soldier is good. Guardians of the Galaxy is good. But what else is in Phase 2? Ant-Man, Avengers. Okay. I'm getting off track, but go watch the first Avengers movie. I guess one other complaint. I don't like the beginning of this movie. I think the first, 20 minutes or so, and when the team's not on screen, it definitely does drag. That whole section on the Helicarrier went on for, way too long of them trying to fix it. I'm like, okay, this is just going on forever. But the final battle is great. Iron Man talking to Loki is great. There's just so many great iconic moments, and it's just a triumphant film. It changed the face of the movie industry altogether, seeing everything come together and this movie make $1 billion. It was truly special, remarkable. Nothing like it had been done to this level, and I just had a great time with it. So thank you, the Avengers, for creating the shared universe stuff, but also why did you have to just change Hollywood completely altogether? It kind of hurt things, but it didn't. It's done some good and bad for Hollywood, I'd say. So, but yeah, good times. Definitely check out the first Avengers. Still a really fun movie. I still really enjoy it. As of right now, it's my favorite MCU film up to through the first 6 movies. Infinity War I like more, but that's just me. So, all right, that's all I got to say. Take care now. Bye-bye then. Go check out the Avengers. Stay tuned next time as we talk about Iron Man 3, which I haven't seen since the theater. Oh boy, fucking A, Iron Man 3. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, take care now. Bye-bye then. I'll see you next time.